Okay. All right. Okay, we're live. This is Keith and Mackenzie.
Yep.
And next generation right here on my lap for the next builders to come around the pike. We want to talk this live chat every Thursday from 5 to 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. We want to talk about planning. And there's always something on just about every build that's kind of a blind spot. Some of it might be a peripheral vision you can't see. It's kind of like in baseball. One of the things they test you for as a major league baseball player is to see what your sight vision is. If you have really good peripheral vision, and if it's like right back and you can still see it, it means you're going to catch a ball or see a ball coming when it's just out of left field. It's the same thing with building. What could be the most left field thing for you? Thing that, oh man, I'm just not prepared for that. What do I do for that? So as builders, we build custom homes. And they're very high-end custom luxury, and a lot of them are just really nice custom homes. And they're on a different lot every single time. In fact, we build homes that are mountain homes. We build homes that are walkout basements. We build homes with multiple levels and terracing, and some of it's stem wall, some of it's slab on grade, some of it's walkout basement, all in the same home. And so you can actually not see things that you wish you could have seen. So how do you plan for that? All right. How do you plan for something that that's on the plans, but because it's on a one dimension of the plans, you don't see it in 3 dimension? So I want to give you some hints as to how you do that. One of the ways you plan for that is you budget for it. Okay. So what's the best way to budget for the unforeseen, Kenzie? Contingencies. What do you mean by contingencies?
It's contingency.
Contingency.
Contingency is a contingency. How do I elaborate that more? I don't know.
Well, I'm going to give you a little details about contingencies. Okay. Any bank that you go to that's going to ask for, you're going to ask for a loan. They're going to ask for at least a 10% contingency over the entire bill. All right. So if your home is 250 or 300, let's say it's 400,000. They're going to ask for a contingency of $40,000. All right. Sometimes they may go as low as 7%, but most banks are going to, at the very least, ask for at least 10%. Now, I've seen that get eaten up all the time. All right. It's very rarely that you build a home where you don't eat up the contingency, but that's part of the budget. That's part of the process. It's kind of like you're cutting into the hillside, you're going to build a home, and you really can't see every little cost. If I'm building a cookie cutter strip mall situation, and I'm going to build 150 homes, and there's 5 different designs, I can really get close to within probably $1,000 on the actual cost of every single home, especially if I've already built one of those homes. I know what some costs are. I know what the cut list is. I know what all those things. All right. But when it comes to a custom home and there's not a duplicate like it real close by, and it's a fairly new design, that's going to require some contingencies. And this is where you really have to be prepared for those blind spots. Now, I've mentioned this call many, many times, but I haven't really reiterated it lately. And that is the contingency of 3 different areas that are extremely important that you have to accommodate for. And the first one is your excavation, especially if it's a hillside or a walkout basement or something like that. If you're not prepared for that, it can really, really knock you upside the head. I've had builds where I've had excavators that are kind of new at it. They're not really informed. They could bid me $30,000, but I know it's north of $100,000. Now, if I take that new, fresh person's approach and I stick them to it, I could really bankrupt them, put them in a bad situation. They'll walk on the job. They still won't get it done. So you really need to know where those numbers are, and getting multiple bids is really going to help you out. And if you get all bids and they're within $8,000 to $10,000, you know that they're in the ballpark. They know what they're talking about. But if you get a bid that's $45,000 less than the next one, and the other 2 are within, say, $5,000, you know you've got somebody that's not very well experienced at that bid. So that's how you avoid blind spots. If you get a bid that's really, 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 really low and one that's really, really high, but you take the low one, you're entering a blind spot. You're actually cruising for a bruising. All right. So the best way to deal with blind spots is to make sure you get 2 or 3 different bids on the same different area. And excavation is a big one. In fact, don't be afraid to get 4 bids in that particular area. So
excavation really, too, like, don't be surprised if they are like not within $1,000. I think excavators, that's one of the biggest ones where their bids really do vary. Like, they're not all within 1,000. That I see them varying between 5,000 and 8,000.
Yeah.
Because some of them have larger overhead than other companies. So I would say excavators, their bids are more spread out than concrete guys. Concrete guys and like your drywall guys, they should all be like within 2,000 of each other.
Yeah, and that's a really good point. You're going to see excavation.
Excavation is varied.
It varies quite a bit. The next one's going to be your lumber and your framing package, that combination. And you've got 2 of them there. First of all is your lumber package, and we're going to talk a little bit about that because there's stuff buried in the lumber package which will not be bid out by a typical lumber yard. That's going to be different. And then, of course, your labor package for framing the whole thing. Combined, those are your 2 biggest costs of a home. In fact, they're greater than your builder fee. Next, if you really look at the typical cost of a home, it's your lumber and your framing labor, that whole package, then your build fee, and then typically your excavation. But excavation could supersede all of those.
Yeah.
It's that wild, ridiculous variable that you don't know. But unless you can know it. Unless you have a geotech report, unless you download the home site selection checklist, and that really gives you some clarity on that.
Yeah.
But what we're saying is geotech, their geology of the home site could throw all those costs out the window. Like I had a call from a gentleman a couple of days ago, and we actually went and did a site visit on some property, and he wanted to buy some property that I did a video on a long time ago. And I think it's called, I'm going to tell my client not to buy this property or something like that. If you go through all my videos, you'll see he actually wanted to buy that property. And so I didn't tell him that I did a video on that until after we investigated it. And come to find out, he was thankful for that video. But it was just solid rock. I mean, solid rock. So I found another one that's got 3 to 5 feet of infill that the geology report said that they can build on it. But below that is solid rock. So he was thinking about maybe possibly putting in a pool. You go down 5 feet below that, what are you going to do? Solid rock. So there's ways around that. I've given some advice on that. But again, these are blind spots that if you don't get informed, you can really hit yourself upside the head. So your home site selection, that touches geology. The next one, of course, is framing layer. Those 2 things are absolutely huge. Now, we talked about framing, okay? And we can have plans, set them to the lumber yard, and they're going to bid it out. You're going to think that you're going to be covered. But what if you have some stuff inside there that a lumber yard doesn't pick up on? What are some things that would be in a framing package that's not privy to a lumber yard?
That's not what do you mean?
Metal?
Like all your Simpson?
Yeah.
All your what are they called? All the saddles that you have that we build. Yeah. All the metalwork.
So what could that mean, metalwork? Explain to them what we mean by metalwork.
Well, I don't understand your question because the lumber yard includes that in their package.
Not all of them do.
Well, ours does.
Ours might.
I don't understand the question because ours does.
Some lumber yards will not be able to bid out metal that has to be fabricated.
Just the structural steel.
Yes,
that's different. I thought you were talking about hardware.
No.
Okay, yeah. No, lumberyard should include the hardware, but structural steel. Yes.
Explain the difference between hardware and structural steel.
Hardware is like your Simpson. You explain that. I can't explain that.
It could be your
hangers,
your
if they're
hangers, your sensor
and
hangers, your structural
It
screws,
just depends on the project.
strong walls.
Yeah, strong walls, but it's mostly just like miscellaneous hardware that the framers will use while they're framing, pretty much.
It's stuff that's prefabricated,
yeah,
already manufactured. It's got a spec on it. They can actually give you the code number of the specification, and then the engineer will call out that specification. But what we're talking about is actual beam work, steel work that has to be fabricated to specifications.
Yes.
So the engineer will say, I want an I-beam or a C-beam or a C-channel, whatever it might be, and I'm going to want this to hold up a certain section of some framework. Well, they'll give some details on it, but those details are not something that's prefabbed. Okay, you have to actually go to a metal iron company, ironwork company. They will actually cut and fabricate that to specifications. So that could be a blind spot. We've known in our custom home industry, that's one of a blind spot that a lot of times we run into. So we make sure we have enough in the budget. Like on the recent one we did, I added money to a budget line item because I figured there was some blind spots.
And the common question too is what comes first, steel or framing? Mm-hmm. What comes first?
Steel or framing?
Yeah, which one usually comes first?
Framing. Well, not necessarily.
Usually steel. The framers are always usually like you want the steel in, and then the framer can make all of his connections.
Right.
Like you can start them at the same time, but you steel takes a while, so you want to get going on that ASAP, because once you start framing, a framer can take between 2 weeks and a month to put up a job, and he's going to need steel eventually. So you usually want to get the steel up as soon as possible.
Yeah, and sometimes your framer will manage the install of the steel. Sometimes they won't. I've got a job coming up where the steel subcontractor has to come in and take some beams and weld them to weld plates. Like in some videos that are coming out, I actually show weld plates where the metal fabricator is going to come, place the beams with a crane, weld them in place, put not a bond beam, but a regular horizontal beam, not a column, but a horizontal beam in place, weld those also in place. And then the framer is going to communicate to the steel manufacturer the actual length and dimension of all that steel work so that he can rest his floor trusses and everything on that. So it can be complicated. And this is a blind spot that a lot of people can run into with, again, very complex builds, very custom looking homes that are not typical, Rambler single level situations. So again, if you're building a home for the first time, the more complicated you make that, the more blind spots you're going to create for yourself. And I've seen that with a lot of owner builders. I saw some owner builders a couple of years ago, and those roof designs that are, what do you call it when it changes, almost like an octagon, where it pitches and it changes pitches and it changes pitches again. I can't remember the name of that kind of a roof design. But they didn't factor in the complexity of the roof install and also the additional flashing that was required in that, because again, it's a blind spot. They went through the entire process. They bought the land, they paid for the design, got the engineering, got the geology done, even bid out the whole thing, and found out the whole home was going to be way too costly. And they were warned in advance a couple of times, but they were thankful for it. And now they ended up selling the land, selling the plans, everything, and now they're at it again. And so they're excited, but now they're kind of prepared. And what have they done? They've created a network of support where they're building, because there's a lot of builders. This is up in Idaho. There's a lot of owner builders in that particular area. I've had a lot of students up there. They've created a network of support for owner builders, and they're helping catch each other's blind spots. And
that's awesome.
It's really, really, really cool, but they're going through a new design process. They're not going to be as complicated this time. They're going to be a little more accessible and easy on the labor and all that kind of stuff. So again, don't design something that's going to create a lot of blind spots. That's our biggest thing we kind of warn students again. So what I want to do, what I want to talk about here is just contingencies. Banks require a 10% contingency. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
In our budgets, we do a little bit more than that. Can you explain what we do?
Yes, I can. We do a 10% contingency over all of construction costs. And then our concrete, excavation, and framing, they each have an additional contingency. So if I have a lumber package, I add another 5% on top of that lumber package for a contingency, because there's always miscellaneous bills that come in where the framer needed to fur in some walls, or the homeowner wanted to move a window, or, you know, things always happen once you walk the project and walls are up. So we put those 3 contingencies in those 3 areas, and then we have a 10% contingency over everything. So yeah, it really does. And we use those, like I'd say like 80% of the time we use those contingencies. And I think it's because the homeowners know that there's a contingency there. So they're like, okay, yeah, let's use it.
And it doesn't mean you're over budget.
Yeah.
If you use a contingency and you still don't go over the total budget, you're still under budget.
Yeah.
Because the contingency is considered a line item cost.
It is. Because there's miscellaneous things that happen that, like you were saying at the beginning, that you sometimes can't foresee. Like when you're, for an example, this happens a lot when you're installing your flooring. Sometimes the concrete isn't perfectly level, and you need, when you're doing a floating floor, you need a level floor. So sometimes we have to grind it down before we can install our floating floor. And that's sometimes a cost. Like, we don't know, are we going to get a perfect slab, or is it going to be slightly off? Or so that's concrete, like cutting, grinding, that comes out of our concrete contingency that sometimes we just have to use. There's things that happen as you go that you won't know, like you can't foresee.
You can't really get the world's perfect slab.
Yeah.
It's especially with,
but you can get pretty dang close.
You can come pretty dang close.
Don't think that we settle for poor workmanship.
But if you have
close.
what are those planks that are 6 feet long? Those planks. You've seen those?
What do you mean planks?
Wood planks that are six feet long.
Okay, yeah.
No matter how good your concrete guy is, there's going to be some undulations in the floor. They'll come and grind that down, and that's a contingency. You can try to get close to that perfection, but you can't. Those are tolerances you kind of put up with in the construction process. I remember watching, I can't remember, he's the Essential Craftsman or whatnot, but he gave a really interesting video for about an hour, and he went over the tolerances in framing, tolerances in flooring, he went through all the tolerances that he kind of deals with, that he's okay with. Mm-hmm. And like, for example, a header, and if there's an excess of a 1/4 inch gap between the stud and the top plate, that's a tolerance I kind of put up with. But if it's 3 in a row, I don't put up with that tolerance. And it's the same thing in construction. There's in any kind of business, what are the tolerances you kind of can deal with on your quality control? So it's something we watch out for. But again, these are unforeseens. These are things you just don't. So what's the worst thing that you ran into?
Wait, first of all, are there any questions? Should we get
Not
to
right
the
now.
Questions? I think Mom said that there are some questions.
Are there some?
Do we have questions? Oh, okay, we got questions.
Go ahead and say some questions, because I can't see
because
them
we were
here.
going to just keep talking.
We can't see any questions there at all. So let you go put it. I'll let you read it in.
Okay. Kai Hyun. Hoon. Okay. Hi, Kenzie. Good to see you on the live chat again. Oh, thanks. Okay. Carrie, thoughts on insulating a converted garage space floor? Oh, yes.
Converted.
Thoughts on insulating.
Well, it's already poured.
A converted garage space floor.
Yeah. If the concrete's already poured, then you're not going to insulate that unless you bust out the concrete, if I'm correct. If this is insulating a converted garage space floor.
Wait, are they talking about the walls, insulating the walls?
No, garage
in
space
a garage
floor.
Space?
I just said floor.
Oh.
If it's just garage space, then I would think it's the walls. But because there's floor at the end of that, I'm trying to think.
Okay.
Yeah, so you could put a luxury vinyl on there that doesn't conduct or wick as much cold as maybe a tile would. It depends on the product you put on that floor that will actually stop cold and heat wicking. That's the only thing I could mention on that. If you're talking about the walls, that's a different story.
If it's the walls, yes. We love insulating our garages.
Yeah. I always insulate all my garages.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Good question, though. Hope we answered it.
Two-part question.
Yeah.
We should put mom. We should just put mom on. Mom, do you want to split the screen?
Go ahead.
Kai Hun, for our steel beam that will support the hanging floor trusses, we need to fasten a 2x2 the top of the beam. Should I place something between the steel and the wood to prevent long-term squeaking?
Good question.
That is.
If it's bolted down tight, not just screwed down, it shouldn't cause a problem. But you can put what's called liquid nails on a lot of hangers. Framers will put a little daub of liquid nails on the hanger, and then they'll put the wood on there to stop that squeaking. Mm-hmm. So that's something you can do. You can actually put a daub of liquid nails on there, and that would actually help.
Framers do that on stairs too, because that's such a high traffic area. They don't want squeaks, so they'll put that glue or liquid nails down before they'll nail it down.
But keep in mind that you the fastening of that 2x4 to that metal beam, it just can't be sat there by the liquid nails. It's got to be bound together by some carriage bolts or something that's going to actually keep it tight indefinitely. Okay.
This is the same person, such as a layer of EPDM.
Yeah. EPDM is a little plastic. It could be 4, 6, 8 millimeter plastic. That actually would help as well. That's just plastic, EPDM. It's kind of the same thing as TPO, like a piece of rubber.
Oh, okay.
That would even be good. TPO would actually be better because it's thicker and it's more of a rubber cushion. But EBM could actually wear, because that's too thin of a layer. You want a thicker gauge. The thicker gauge material would actually be the best for there. And I just go to a roofing supply and get some TPO rubber, just put it on there.
That's a great question.
Okay, I'll let you read that one.
Is it because you can't read it? No, I'm just kidding.
I have to get too close to it.
Okay.
I have to use my bifocals. What is the best way to handle communication after getting bids? I got 3 bids for siding, and am I obligated to communicate with those that did not get the bid? No, you're not. They don't call back to check advice. If they don't call back, you don't need to call them. You just need to communicate with the one that you want.
Yeah.
And then let them know you've won the bid and that you tell them your approximate build time.
Yeah.
So
that's a great question, because I think about this a lot. Because I would like to write like a formal letter approving someone's bid and then a formal letter declining people's bids, but I don't have time for that yet. But that is a great etiquette practice to let people know, like, we will be going with someone else, but you don't have to.
I prefer not to communicate. The reason why is because if that first bid seems to be a little bit sour, it didn't work out, you can always go with the second bid. And so, hey, we're about ready to bid. We got your bid. We like you, but you don't tell them that they were second string.
Yeah.
But you let them know, hey, it is still bid. We love to use you. We're ready in about 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So I like to keep it in there as a second bench type of player who they can come on if they need to.
But most of them will call you, and you just let them know, oh, we're going with someone else. Because most of them will follow up with an email or a call. Right.
Good question.
Yeah.
I'll let you read that one.
Robert, have you seen a lot of changes in property tax during the building process? I had only finished framing at the end of last year, and my property tax skyrocketed 5 times, even on an unfinished build. Oh, wow. Mom, can you chime in? Because I thought your property tax can't increase until you get CO.
Correct.
Yeah, that's usually the case. And January, though, is when they reassess things. So I don't know if the land went up, but it shouldn't. I know with Washington County, they allow people to fight or dispute the changes, and you can say it's not finished yet. So
Mhm.
every county is different, but the
I would
tax,
dispute that because it's all county, it's not city. Unless the city is imposing bonds and stuff, and then they send the bond to the county recorder, and the county recorder has to automatically apply it to the fees and stuff of the land. You never know where that cost is coming from.
and
But
then
you can dispute it.
also with Washington County, there's two different prices. They have primary resident and second home residence. And when it changes hands, anytime there's something done in the county recorder that changes, even if your loan changes, you refinance the loan, they will send you to as a secondary tax rate. And then you have to prove that it's your primary, or you haven't finished it or whatever. So depending on where you're at, I would definitely go into the county and see what you can do and talk it through with the
Yeah,
county.
just fight that because you don't have a CO yet. And usually it's either prorated or they don't charge you until the next year. Some counties are different. Most of the time it's prorated up until the date of certificate of occupancy. So like if you're building on agricultural land, it's agricultural until you get a CO. And then after that it's prorated up until the end of the year.
Mhm.
Okay, good question.
That is a good question, and I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah, that's so sad.
Politicians, tell them to stop that.
Okay, this next question is back to the garage floor heating, okay?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we have it framing over the slab,
We have framing over this. Oh, so
which is hanging to the walls.
does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah,
So insulating the floor.
yeah. The floor is sitting right on top of the slab. I would do mineral wool because you could have some moisture issues down there, and the mineral wool. Just do Comfort Bat 30. You can get that at any box store, and it's a really thick bat, and you can just put that underneath there, and that would take care of that. It'll also help with sound deadening inside there.
Yeah, that's a great question. Yeah.
Okay. I'll
You
let
got
you
it,
read
me?
I'll let you
Okay.
read it. The long one.
JC, any durability concern for CMU block foundation versus poor concrete foundation? I am is NJ, New Jersey.
New Jersey.
That's so bad that I have to ask. New Jersey, and have an addition project. We are going to add 600 square feet above ground foundation, then 2 levels above that.
Okay, a couple of thoughts. The CMU block, that's a really tough question because it deals with your site logistics. And if your concrete guy can't form up that stem wall, is what you're really talking about, then you have a frost issue in New Jersey, if I'm correct, which is why you're doing the CMU block foundation versus concrete foundation. You're still going to have a spread footing down below there. Okay, so you pour the spread footing, you've got your rebar coming up, and you just don't know if you're going to have that framed as a stem wall, part of the frost depth of the foundation, or if it's going to be a CMU wall. You can't put a CMU wall directly on dirt. It has to be on a footing of some kind. Mm-hmm. And the advantage of the CMU wall is you control the placement of that wall a little better. You can get really nice and level. It has to be mortar. But if you're really thinking about that, that's where OmniBlock comes in very powerfully, because it has an insulated wall inside there, and you have another cell for concrete. It's something to consider, to look into. But the CMU walls, if you do put it in a CMU foundation, I'm just curious how high you're going to go. And if you're going to go a certain height on the inside of that, you could put polyiso foam and insulate that wall, so you're not going to have any cold wicking into the foundation of the home.
It says 2. They're going to do then 2 levels above that.
So that's fine, because the CMU wall, that's going to be filled with concrete and rebar and concrete. And so it's going to hold the compression weight of the home up above. But you're probably, I don't know if you're going to have a crawl space or if it's going to be a slab on grade on that first level, whatever you're going to do. I don't know what you're going to do there. But I'll tell you this much. You might probably go with just full concrete on the whole thing, but I would talk with a bunch of different resources to find out about that. It's better to have one subcontractor do it all rather than have a concrete guy come and pour a footing, and hopefully they get the rebar in the right location specifically for the CMU wall, and then have the mason come and put the CMU wall. But if you get them both there at the same time, they can place the rebar in the right spot. But again, that's two subcontractors, and that's going to be a little more costly unless it's one subcontractor who can do both, like the one we did for Joe. Remember that one?
Yeah.
He did
that
the
was great.
slab foundation and he did the CMU wall, or the omniblock wall. It's the same as the CMU wall, and he did it all at the same time, so he could actually place the rebar in the exact location it needed to be. So it's really a logistics situation. If you can get it all in the same subcontractor, good. If not, you got to get them to talk to each other, and that could be a little harder to deal with. So you might just go with one subcontractor for the whole thing. So I hope that answers your question. Complicated. I'll let you read that one.
Falor's Group Lawn and Landscape. Are those Wally's in background in the self-managed program building in North Carolina mountains? Yes, they are Wally's in the background. Thank you for noticing. My husband is an all-star. He is a great drag racer, and I'm so proud of him.
He's here sometime.
He's here somewhere. But those are his Wally's. Yep.
Yeah. She's a drag racer too.
I am. Married into it.
Married into
Not born into it. Married into it.
Okay. Good question. I'll really read that one.
Kim Winter just received our first bid for a 30-year shingle of $27K for 98 square. 98 square.
98 squares is a big
Dogs.
roof. A square is a 10
square.
by 10 section.
So 10.
So that's almost 10,000 square feet. Am I right?
Is if she's saying 98 square.
Divide 27,000 by 98. 97.
What?
Divide 27,000 by 98.
Whoops. Okay.
We're gonna tell you.
27,000 divided by 98.
That's 275 a square. That's kind of high for asphalt.
It's a 30-year shingle.
30-year shingle.
We're
So
in northern Oklahoma.
Yeah. If you're in Oklahoma, I wouldn't put asphalt shingles on there because they're going to get ripped off with the first light wind that comes along. And the light winds there could be 60 miles an hour.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just something to think about. And if they're not installed right and the heat doesn't seal down the flap that's not nailed down, you're going to get dust underneath that asphalt shingle. It's going to start to flap up. The only recommendation is a high architectural shingle. There's an architectural shingle that has hooks at both ends of it, so that the actual part that's not nailed down, that's supposed to seal down on top of the shingle before it, it locks in so high winds can actually help hold it down. So look into some high-end architectural shingles and find out what architectural shingles are doing. If they're just doing 3-tab, which is the worst shingle you can put on, it doesn't have any weight to it, it doesn't have a way to hook into other shingles, then that could be pose a problem down the road.
Yes, but if it is your square foot 9,800 square feet?
98 square.
Yeah, if it's 98 square, what would I'm bad with square.
It's under $300 a square, but I think we came up with $325.
But what's the square footage of the home? Would it be close to?
I don't know. It depends on the pitch of the roof and all that.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't know.
But
98 square is a big roof. The standard
that's
home.
a pretty good price for a roof, though.
Yeah,
in
it
my
is. But for
opinion.
architectural, for asphalt.
Oh, sorry. It says shingle. I'm just so
Yeah.
used to when we
Yeah.
say shingle, we say metal. We're installing metal. Okay, I'm like, that's a great price.
Yeah, if we got that for metal, that'd be a great price. But we deal with different roofs.
Yeah.
We put, lifetime roofs on our roofs.
6,200 square feet. Yeah.
Yeah,
I think that's a great price.
that's a great price
I
for a
think it's a
roof,
good price.
but it's not going to last. It's not going to be the 30-year you think.
But look into a metal shingle.
Yeah, and the last thing is on asphalt shingles, you have to ventilate your roof because the expansion contraction of an asphalt shingle roof, it tears away at the nails. So if you don't ventilate that roof, especially for that roof product, you're going to run into problems, which is, again, why we do metal roofs, because we don't run into that problem as much as you do with asphalt shingle roofs.
But I think that's a great bid.
Yeah, it's
in
great
my opinion.
And you can always get a second bid.
Yep. Good answer, Mom.
Good answer.
Good answer. We should have said that to begin with, but I think
look into architectural shingles. You'll see the difference between 3-tab shingles. You'll see what I'm talking about.
Yep.
Okay, I'll let you read that one. It's too much for me to read.
Lion, hi Kenzie. Sorry, this may be a silly question. I saw the YouTube video where you took your baby with you to work. Do you do that every day? Wondering if that would work for me. LOL, I have 3 kids. I have actually a really good system today. Well, I have a good system set up. She does come with me every day except Wednesdays and normally Thursdays. My mom watches her Wednesdays and my mother-in-law watches her Thursdays. But I do take her everywhere with me Monday and Tuesday, and then occasionally Friday too when I work. So she is my little companion. But 3, that would be a little hard because I don't know if I'll have a second because it's pretty hard.
I watch her sometimes too.
Yep, she came with Grandpa and me today, and we ordered windows, but she loves it. I think it's such a great environment for kids. Like, we're outside, we're on the job site, and the only time that it's difficult is when I have to do paperwork. So usually I have to do that at night, and so. But it's a great career.
We took her to the window place, and
Yeah.
the salesman gave her a popsicle.
A
or
sucker.
A sucker.
Yeah.
She made a mess.
Everyone loves seeing kids. Like, in construction, everyone loves seeing kids. And I think it's because everyone's just away from their family. So it's good to see little chitlins, but I don't know. It's great. I love it.
Yeah. Don't get
Mackenzie,
pursue that career. All we can say is go after it.
Yeah.
Mackenzie, would you say, is that why you love and you always wanted to be a general contractor, because you always saw Dad doing it?
Yeah, it would be because, I follow my dad on job sites. I got to hang out with my dad, so I thought it was the coolest thing. And he said, I still remember the reason why I became a general contractor, because he's like, hey, kids, you can be a general contractor and you can be a mom and you can take your kids to the job site. I'm like, okay, I can still work and be a mom. That's great. So it kind of stuck with me. And then I don't know. I've always wanted to be a builder since then, huh, Dad?
Yeah. And we're having fun. We're having fun. My boys missed out, huh?
Yeah, they did.
They took over my dad's careers, not my careers.
They're artsy and they're so tech savvy. I'm a little jealous because I'm not as tech savvy as them, but
we're build savvy.
We're build savvy. I'm not even build. I'm design savvy. You're build savvy. I'm design savvy. So,
she's organization and building and invoicing savvy, not me. I've given that up.
Yeah.
So. Good question. Thank you. Don't please go after that career. Find some way to get into it. You'll be very happy about it.
Yep.
Okay. And then you got 3 kids to do slave labor.
Yeah. You always need to pick up the job site. I started doing. That's how I started. For 2 years. I cleaned job sites.
So I did want to say, I'm not an accountant or a CPA, but there are some really, really good tax benefits when your kids help you with your business that I realized too late. Yeah. So I would definitely talk to them because they allow you so much money without having to pay taxes. And then, look into that.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to declare a certain amount of income for a kid until it reaches a certain threshold. But then when you pay that kid, that becomes an expense, which is against your income. Again, that's what my we didn't figure that out until a little too late.
Yeah.
So
I could have been working. I could have actually been making money.
Yeah.
But I didn't get paid to clean up job sites.
Good question.
Okay. Yeah. Well, next one.
JC
again. Yes, there will be 42-inch dig out for the footings, then CMU walls all the way to 8 feet above ground basement. The architect told me it would be a lot more expensive and longer time for the pour concrete wall.
Not true. It'll actually be longer and more difficult for the CMU wall.
It would be. Because
they have to make a pour every 32 inches. Unless they can get their horizontal beams and everything in one pour, but haven't seen that happen because unless it's grouted, each CMU wall is grouted. But I wouldn't want to pour concrete in 8 feet of a CMU wall because you can't pound that wall to hopefully shake and bake all that concrete down there. You've got to get vibrators to get all that concrete down there. They can form up an 8-foot wall faster, get it poured in literally 3 to 5 days. Whereas a CMU wall, it's going to take a lot longer to do. So and it may be different in your particular area. They may have a knack for it, but I would go with a solid pour concrete wall any day. Plus, you're not going to have all that cold pour joints all over the place, and you're going to have a more solid 8-inch wall, solid concrete in there. So, yeah, rethink that. Get some bids for the solid concrete formed wall. Okay. Next one.
Kim Winter. The roofer does not want to do the ridge vents. Oh, on the asphalt roof? Is that?
He does not want you to do the ridge vents.
The home is 6,200 square feet. The roofer doesn't do the ridge
I don't know
vents.
why he does not want to do the ridge vents. Mainly because that would actually keep the warranty on his roof. You just can't install asphalt shingles without venting. So I don't know why he's asking that. You might want to just ask him why, and then get more bids because that's a really, really odd one.
That's a red flag.
That's a red flag.
Get another bid.
Get another bid. I'm weary about that because maybe he's not wanting to include that as a cost, and he's just trying to cut cost. Well, you want to have a ridge vent for an asphalt shingle roof, definitely. So find out about that. Get some more bids. Okay, honey, caffeine, headache, honey. I'll let you read that one.
No, you got it. Go for
I
it.
get too close. I got my bifocals
Okay.
on.
What do you guys know about roof shingles that are made of recycled car fenders? Look like slate in Southeast Michigan. I have not heard of that. Made of recycled car fenders.
That would be really good in hailstorms.
Yeah.
So if it's recycled from car fenders, that'd be a really thicker gauge metal, really thicker.
Yeah.
We use aluminum and it's not that thick, but it has a refractive quality to it, lightweight, but it would be heavy to put on. They'd have to drill the holes, more than likely have them pre-drilled, and then cutting those fenders. If you have to cut in for a valley. If I did that, knowing how thick that metal is, I wouldn't do any valleys. I would not do it would be shed dormers, straight, right angle roof design, more of a shed looking roof, country farm looking, but no gables on, no valleys, no dead valleys at all. And it would be a lot easier to install.
But so, I have not heard of that. I have not heard of that.
Send us a link. We'd love to look into that. That'd be full.
That's cool.
So I'll let you read that one.
Brady Morgan. My 6-year-old son asks to go to work with me every day. He loves being on the job site and helping me. Says he can't wait to be working. Told him I can't wait for his cheap labor. That's awesome. Yeah, kids love the job site, and it's so fun. It's such especially where we're at, it's such a great environment. Like, it's the best. That makes me so happy to hear. That's so cute.
To be honest with you, 1 to 2 builds matches the standard income that most people have. If you're making $62,000 a year or $44,000 or $38,000 on those low ends, 1 to 2 builds, even a remodel and then a build, it can actually match that income. Now think about all the freedom you have. And then on top of that, you start to be a help person in your community. You start taking on other jobs. Like I became a general contractor after working with a nonprofit for several years. And my wife and I, we were having a hard time. We went to California, to the Bay Area to think we can get some work. Again, more labor minded. We're going to trade our time for labor in the fields that we were experts at. Well, nothing worked out. So we came back. And my next door neighbor asked if, hey, I've been thinking about remodeling. What could I do? And I says, why don't you just build an upstairs in there? And then he did. And that was my first job. And I didn't have all the skills. I didn't have my contractor's license, but he hired me anyway. And I just did a lot of it. And that catapulted me into having more confidence. And the more complicated things you take, the more confidence you get. I've got a remodeler guy now, I mentor. He's taking on more and more and more stuff. And then you get confidence, and that confidence just is a business. It's a business service that you can offer to people. So go at it, have some fun. And then if you start to do some remodels and stuff like that you help flip, that's a great thing too. It's a lot of good money there. Okay.
Leanne, thanks so much. I can understand having to do paperwork at night. I took architecture in high school and went to school for interior design for a bit, plus lots of DIYs. So I think I will love building. Yes, you will.
Yeah.
You will.
You will.
You will.
I don't like choosing colors and stuff like that. I like the structure of a home that's going to last forever, and she can do all that.
Yep.
Okay, next question.
Kevin Tui, how would you
Tui.
Tui. I can swear to you people, the building your own home is easier than buying. It is.
Yeah, because you don't know what you're buying. And there's some parts of this country, the stuff that's built is really sad. In fact, I've seen new builds that are worse built than a modular home, to be honest with you. I've seen modular homes built better than some stick built that I've seen, especially in some parts of the Southwest. You want to stay away from.
Yeah.
Because they don't have inclement climate, cold weather conditions, a lot of builders can get away with absolutely doing nothing for the utility efficiency of a home because they live in a mild climate. And so mild climates like San Diego, East Texas, south of Texas, the panhandles all the way down to South Florida, they can get away with a lot because the efficiency needs aren't that great, except in some parts of Florida where the high winds kick in. Oh, you have to have more efficiency of the engineering. So just keep that in mind, that the regions of this country, they build entirely different because of the weather that they live in.
Yeah.
So let you read that.
Brady Morgan, I left my corporate career to build homes for all the reasons Keith just stated and then some. Best choice I ever made.
Cool.
Oh, that is so awesome.
You put a big smile on our face. So.
Okay. Kevin Tui, when you build your own home, you have one less realtor to deal with.
My wife's smiling about that.
I actually told my mom too. I had to deal with a real estate agent who was represented the buyer, and I came home to my mom. I was like, I hate real estate agents, except you, Mom. I love you.
And one less general contractor. Okay, we'll take a few more questions. We have to end in 5 minutes because I've got a meeting I've got to be to. But I'll kick out maybe Kinsey if she wants to finish the last 5 minutes. She can.
Okay, Yo-Yo, I got a bid for $82K for framing. This would be for a 4,400 square foot 2-story home and 1,500 square foot single-story home. The square footage includes garages. Now the sub is trying to renegotiate, stating this. So 82 and 44.
Let me figure this out. We'll figure this out.
This would be for 4,400 square foot 2-story home and
That's $18 a square foot.
And 1,500 square foot single story home. And that would include the garages, and the garage square footage isn't include that. Okay, is there part 2? Didn't include cost of crane rental.
Well, that's I can understand.
What do you think about the bid and now?
Go back to that one. Go back to that. So it's
okay.
82,000 divided by how many total square feet? Add it up.
44,
54,
54, and then
almost 6,000. We'll just say 6,000.
It's 59.
59.
No, it's not. Oh my gosh, I can't.
It's $13 a square foot. It's roughly. That's kind of on the mid to low range nationwide on framing, and he's probably realizing that he probably bit a little bit too much, not being able to cover the cost on that. He's probably less experienced as a framer, depending upon the complexity of the build. And I don't know where you're building, If you're building in like say San Diego and he's doing it for 30, yeah, he's going to eat his shorts because he won't be able to pay the labor costs in that particular area. But if he's like in maybe Missouri or even Oklahoma or somewhere where there's not
even
much,
here, even if he's here,
yeah, that's kind of on the low side, medium side.
It's medium.
Yeah, medium. So.
Also, another thing, I don't know if it's like really complex on the inside. I don't know.
The crane is what, $1,500 for a day in most areas. But if they have to,
so and how much is he asking to charge on top of that? I guess that would be my next question, because if he's just trying to get another $500, to me that's not worth fighting for, fighting over. But if he's trying to upcharge you over
10 grand,
50, I was gonna say, if he's trying to upcharge you, 5,000, then I'd be like, okay, what happened?
Yeah. To get some clarity on there, if you get one or two more bids, it's going to open your eyes quite a bit.
Yeah. To me, that's like, he knew at the beginning, like, it's probably on him too that he needed the crane longer than, like, that's his fault, because he should have known how long he needed a crane for. He has your plans. So yeah, that's kind of sad that he's coming back on that. Yeah.
Good question, JC.
And that's hard too, because like we have subs that we've just worked with forever, and like we're in a knit group where we're just loyal with each other now too. So it makes me sad when people have to deal with that. So I'm sorry. JC, thank you so much. Super helpful. Any tips to get a good price of construction materials? Did we tell them what we did today?
You can tell them.
I don't know. Am I a little embarrassed though to tell them?
I'll say it. Okay. We have a lot of subcontractors we use and supply houses we use, and they've been kind of standard, and they're really good, and they have follow through, and they include install. And
we love them.
We love them to death. But we have a client where we ran into a situation where the city told us we have to do something after we got the permit. It's going to increase a certain amount of cost, quite a bit of cost to our client. So we had, and typically we went with a local lumber yard. So I went to a local box store and I was able to shave. How much did I shave off? About 9,000?
Yep, about 10,000.
About almost 10,000 on the late lumber cost. And then we also did that with the windows. How much did we shave there?
And we shaved $5,000.
About $5,000. So between those two things, we were able to save enough for the cost of the curb and gutter we have to put in. So we typically don't do that. Why? Because if we have to, we don't mind doing it for our clients, but most builders won't go that route because it's harder to deal with. With supply houses, they will do estimates right off the plans. Box stores won't do that. They will not read right off the plans.
You have to walk them through.
Everything.
And if you don't, there's more high risk of things going wrong, and then that can be more costly in the end too. So we have to, we literally sat down with him for an hour. I went through all the windows on the house. We did it together because I'm like, we can't mess this up. I can't return a window. And that's another thing. I can't return a window once it comes.
Right.
But on my other suppliers, they'll usually take a window back or get me a new one or handle anything that goes wrong. So that's why we use our local suppliers instead of box stores. But sometimes,
if you're an owner builder and you need to shave some costs, but still maintain the quality,
shop around,
and you have the time to sit with people and walk them through that, then it's to your advantage. And so that's answering your question. That's a tip. That we do the price of construction materials. And here's something we do a lot. We'll get a bid, all right? We know it's from a local supplier, but we might use a different subcontractor, a different supplier later on. Guess what we've done? We've got more contingency.
Oh, yeah. And then you can add finishes that you just wanted in the first place, but you couldn't put in your budget. Look, now you have a budget for it.
So these are secretive things on a budget. If you think you're going to create a budget, and I'll give a voice of warning, and save at the point of the budget, you're going to run into some really nasty situations. create buffer and contingency in that budget. I mean, intensely, and then save against that budget, not before you set the budget. And trust me, you're going to be just in a real comfortable situation when you do that.
Mhm.
We'll take a couple more questions here. We can't see how many questions they are, so we're in the dark.
Havasu on the Lake. How do you budget for a framing bid / what are you seeing per square foot? How do you budget?
I've seen costs as low as $7 a square foot, and I would never hire anybody who's willing to work that cheap. And I've seen it as high as $36 a square foot. But keep in mind, here's where it really is a difference in different markets. In like Southern California, they will include the square footage of the garage as finished square foot of the home. In our market, they don't. And we kind of have framers over the handrail here, and we just want finished square footage, and they frame the garage for free. Essentially, that's what it comes down to.
But here it's like, and it depends on the complexity as well. So
Yeah.
like a standard home for us, our framer, sometimes he'll just bust it out in a week and a half, 2 weeks, and he'll charge us $10 a square foot.
Yeah.
But on our complex mountain builds, he'll charge us $14 a square foot.
Yeah.
Because there's so many heavy timbers and the commute. And so that's another factor, but I see ours is anywhere between $10 and $14 a square foot.
Yeah. So ask around, and then ask if they include the garage or not. That's really the big tell. And so that's why I tell owner builders, if they don't charge for the garage, then you can make a little bigger garage. But I've seen people build really big garages and complain about the framing. It's because you're paying that per square foot on framing. And I can see it from the framer's perspective. Hey, it's the same square footage. We don't care what's in that square footage. We're framing it up. So just ask around, get and figure it out. Okay, Jeff
Hayden, glad to have purchased self-managed and am joining how to build your own home at the septic permit stage and budgeting phase. Thanks, team. Oh,
great.
Awesome.
If you haven't gone to howtobuldyourownhome.com, do that and take the first steps course.
Hannah Banana. Oh,
go Hannah Banana.
Hannah Banana. Oh, good job, Mom. Hey, Mackenzie, is it okay to use a company that does siding, roof, etc.? Do it all together? Yes, it is.
Yes.
Okay, that's good. Sometimes,
why? Because their scaffolding is their scaffolding, rather than have to have two different subcontractors, and hopefully one's going to let the other one use the scaffolding, which is not always the case. So they're going to have it all there ready to rock and roll for them, and they have an economy of scale, which can tend to be a little better price.
And they're going to finish things in a way so they can. So like when they're doing the siding, they're going to finish it. So how do I explain that? My words aren't coming out. They're going to finish
they'll finish it the right way. For example, if you put soffit and fascia on,
yes,
after the drip edge is on the roof, then it's really flimsy. You can't get the nails up in there high underneath the drip edge. So by doing it all in one subcontractor, they can install it properly so everything's fastened the right way in the right order.
Yes, that's what I was trying to say. In the right order. In the right order. And it will just be a better finish. Yes.
Yeah.
When you can use one person for multiple things, I'm always for that.
Yeah, we do that with a couple of subcontractors.
We do.
One more question. We'll take one more question.
Kim Winter, be safe drag racing. My husband had Doug and Scott Coletta as students in Michigan. He also worked for them for 8 years. Great sport. Oh my gosh, that's so cool.
Do you know those names?
Yes, I do. That's awesome. Wait, Mom put on Payton. Who assigns the address? Any advice on working with post office putting mailbox up? I've heard it's difficult. Good to see Mackenzie back. Thank you guys. Okay. Who assigns the address? That's the city. The city.
No, the county recorder's office is going to assign an address, and then you will just go to any store, utility store, grab some numbers and put them up. But you have to put them up based upon what the city asks you.
Any advice on working with the post office putting mailbox?
Mailbox, just tell them to hurry up.
Yeah, you just have to work with the post office. But there's been a time where a homeowner has given me an address and I went to submit a building permit and the city came back and said, no, this is the wrong address. Here is the correct address. And I was like,
We've run into that a lot.
That's happened multiple times.
Oh my gosh.
But as long as you have that parcel number, then the city can help you with the correct address too. And
Right.
I'm sure the post office.
Okay, we'll end there. If we didn't answer some questions, come back next week. We'd love to have you. I was happy to have Kenzie here with me this time.
Yes.
We should do this
I'll
more
be
often.
back. I'll be back next week. I'm back, guys.
She's back here, and we have a lot of videos on some really interesting processes. We just did a job where we power washed the slab on grade foundation.
Yeah.
So we have exposed aggregate. It's going to be the actual floor. We're going to do a nice epoxy clear look on it. We're really excited about showing you some neat things we're doing.
I'm really excited.
She's really
to show
excited
you.
about that.
I'm very tempted to do it in my own home. It's really cool.
Yeah.
So I am excited.
So we have new
I'll
things
have
we're
to do
doing.
that video with you.
We have some new things we're doing.
Yeah.
And go to howtobuildyourownhome.com. Take the first steps course if you're thinking about being an owner builder. It will point you in the right direction. Until then, we'll see you guys next Thursday from 5 to 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. We'll see you guys then.